The temperatures are cooling off massively here in New York City, but luckily 100 Thieves is warming up a bit as we got a pretty solid win yesterday over what I would call a struggling Dignitas, who still doesn't even have their full roster. But then again, there's still good signs that you can take away from weaker games. Realistically, you want to continue to step up your performance as the year goes on. What we saw in week 1, even though it might have been against a better opponent in Cloud9, you can then have things that you work on and fix going into lesser matchups, such as Immortals, such as Dignitas, and now likely a TSM that I think has been fully exposed as of yesterday, even though it was only one game. I think we've seen enough in 3 games, in my opinion at least, to know that they're not the top 6. I'm sorry to them. This is going to be a struggling narrative throughout the entire year, but it's a natural cause when you have Doublelift on a team. We could already see it with Draft today. Everything eventually kind of becomes about him. Why? Because you can trust him to carry when he's in form. And we saw that today with Draft. Tenacity has played Ornn many times before in Academy. This is his first time pulling it out on the LCS stage, and it definitely looked a little bit shaky at spots. Even he owned up to it on Twitter. But for the most part, it's Ornn. It takes some really, really massive mess ups to not play it well. And I don't even think he died in the game as a whole. So overall, that's a win. But you have an Ornn, you have a Vi, and then you have a Azir, Zeri, and then Lulu on Poom, which credit to Sven for trying to get more information out of him in the post-game interview, basically saying, I know you got more than just Lulu and Yumi in your champ pool. What are you doing, bro? And he just wouldn't say a thing. It's like, I know. That's the worry, though. Is when you have Bjergsen and Doublelift on a team, do you mold everything around them? Now, I don't think this is going to be the comp every week. I think eventually we will get some of those fun picks from Busio, some of those fun picks from Tenacity that will let him carry in a similar manner to Fudge. But for now, at least, seems like we're going to comfort, which is Doublelift nearly getting a pentakill. Should have been a pentakill, missed by 1 second in his 3rd game back in the LCS.
No worry at all. Tenacity buffers through the Sejuani ulti. He doesn't even take any damage. Closer's still threatening the dive going forward. Tenacity just continuing to march at Dig. They can't get away. Doublelift just all of them. It's a quadra kill for Doublelift, and 100 Thieves managed to just steam.
I think people are scared to say what I'm about to say because you don't want to call it too early, but if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, eats like a duck, does everything like a duck, it's probably a duck. And Doublelift is back. I've seen enough of his form already to call him one of the better ADCs in the league already. I'm not willing to put a number on it, but the mechanics that we've seen from his Zeri, which, as mentioned last week, on newer champions, he tends to struggle more. The fact that he's already slotted in the Zeri and is doing perfectly fine, is nearly having pentakills against lower teams already, and is flirting that line flirting that edge on the front line where he's almost able to get picked off, which has been a flaw of his in the past. But when you don't do that, it works out well. It's the same thing that people are praising Prince for, but people will then criticize Doublelift, which, quick side tangent, I obviously check Reddit, check Twitter, everything else. I'm a very online person, and I somewhat have to be for social media because a lot of the stuff that I do is based around the community conversation. And I've already seen people talking about international performances for this roster and LCS rosters in general, and I just want to say, stop it. Stop it. We are in week 2 of the LCS. Please just enjoy domestic play before we start worrying about what habits, what tendencies, everything is going to translate to the international stage. We will worry about that when we get there, but you cannot keep putting the buggy in front of the horse and just setting ourselves up for failure here. Enjoy domestic play, and we'll go from there. Doublelift's play right now in the LCS is already enough to consider him one of the top players. That's it. Nothing else needs to be said on that regard. Going to jungle, because I think that's really the only other role that we need to talk about in relation to this specific game. Whatever happened to Closer this game when he brought out his evil step twin, I don't even know what to call him. There's a There was a really bad joke to be made there, and I failed the execution of it. It wasn't great. His mechanics on Vi were not good. And the jump scare that everybody got from the Vi flash at level 3, whew.
Interesting, right? Because you have kind of a unique perspective on this. Like, Busio is a role swap mid laner playing support. You're a role swap AD playing support. So, like, I mean, but it kind of works in this meta, right?
Whoa! Closer! No, man!
Well, he got the flash.
Yeah, he got the flash, but that was about the goofiest Vi game.
But here's the thing. Closer does this every year. Every split, he just seems to have these games where it's just not there. But then when it clicks and it's mechanically right, it's really, really on. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm not worried. I saw people say, you know, oh, this is Closer without the rose-tinted glasses on. No, you're the one with the rose-tinted glasses on. If you think that 100 Thieves fans didn't know that Closer's capable of having these games where he looks like a chicken with his head cut off, and then next game he'll come out and he'll be the MVP of the game. Like, that's just the nature of Closer. He's a little bit more coin flip, and quite frankly, most of us are used to it at this point. Looking ahead to today, since I'm recording this on Friday morning, we have our TSM match today as well. I would realistically probably expect the same thing as what we saw yesterday. I would like to see them mix up the comp a little bit just to see if we could try something different, but I also don't want to give up the wins because this is a big one for us. Getting ourselves to 3-1 before we go into a week where we play FlyQuest and Team Liquid, who Team Liquid are looking like they're rebounding to a certain extent. It's actually going to be very important to get this win and keep building momentum, because next week is going to be when we hit that roadblock, that moment in time where, okay, are we truly developing? For those that don't watch Halo, watch Call of Duty, there's a great example of this that I love to consistently bring up, and that's Optic Halo. Back whenever Maniac rejoined the team and everything else was going on there, we were climbing in terms of our overall roster. They would stream scrim, so we got to see like their practice continue to evolve, and it got to the point where we were unanimously like the second best team in scrims, and we were facing off against, I think it was Luminosity or CLG, whatever team Lethal was on at the time, and everybody was hyping up the scrim. It was like, okay, we're getting better, and then we got pummeled. Like, we got absolutely pummeled, and it started our descent back down. So I am expecting 100 Thieves to likely lose to FlyQuest. We should realistically, under the assumption that, in my opinion, at least FlyQuest beats C9 today, we should lose to them, considering that we are still growing and we shouldn't be expected to have our full team at full strength until the end of the year. You're noticing, obviously, that I look a little bit different right now. Yeah, my wireless microphone died because I forgot to charge one of the parts of it. So unfortunately, the last 2 minutes of me talking and saying everything earlier kind of got wiped. Well, not wiped, but you just literally can't hear me at all. I'm just mute. So finishing up things right here, I have to edit this and get it out now, so I don't have the time to go back and re-say everything. But basically, TLDR was we should look to continue to improve and learn from our losses. We shouldn't be expected to win every game. We should beat the teams that are below us, and that should be about it. Going forward, that's pretty much it. Looking forward to the TSM game tomorrow. Sorry, this one's a little bit shorter. The editing got cut off a little bit, but it is what it is. So I'll see you tomorrow for TFC after hopefully what is a 3-1 record for us and a very, very hot start to the year. Peace.